I know this topic is going to really shock some of you, but whey protein is not the same thing as anabolic steroids. When I was a teenager looking to purchase some whey protein and looking at all the various containers and information on those containers and the words like anabolic being thrown around, I also was somewhat confused. I mean, obviously I knew that whey protein wasn't the same as steroids, but at the same time, could there be some whey protein that would basically, mimic the effects of anabolic steroids? Was there a legal and safe way to do steroids without doing steroids? Well, the truth of the matter is that whey is a byproduct of manufacturing cheese. Whey protein is then isolated from the whey. The various ways of processing whey protein will result in slightly different whey protein products like whey concentrate, whey isolate, hydrolyzed whey. So the different forms of whey protein will have slightly different nutritional contents, but for the most part, they're all just dietary protein sources. Whereas anabolic steroids obviously are drugs that create certain hormonal effects which mimic testosterone, except in much higher doses than the human body can naturally create. Anabolic steroids have a huge effect on muscle protein synthesis as well as protein synthesis in the skeletal system. Whey protein is simply dietary protein. Anabolic steroids, drugs that affect hormone production and hormone regulation. Two totally different things, two totally different effects. Whey protein has all of the health risks that eating protein has or eating food has. Anabolic simply refers to a state that your body would be in when it is making tissue, as opposed to a catabolic state where it is breaking down tissue for energy. Eating certain foods, being in a caloric surplus, will lead to an anabolic environment. There are certain activities that are anabolic. So just because eating a certain amount of food is anabolic, or then there's also this thing called anabolic steroids, it does not mean that anabolic food is going to have the same result or effect as anabolic steroids. Whey protein is simply a dietary supplement. It is something that you can use to consume a greater amount of protein than what you're getting in your diet if you can't manage it from your diet, from whole foods, for whatever reason. It's very convenient, especially when you're trying to lose weight, to incorporate the use of some whey protein simply because it has a very high protein to calorie ratio. It's going to be very low in fat, low in carbs. Primarily, most of the energy is coming from protein. So it can be advantageous to use when you are dieting, or it can be advantageous to use it even if you're bulking in order to get a certain amount of protein into your diet. However, it is not going to be more beneficial to consume your protein through whey as opposed to other meat sources. And believe it or not, there are still adults out there who are educated who don't know the difference between being on something or taking whey protein as part of their diet. Well, I hope this clears it up for those of you who are under the impression that by taking whey protein you might be on something. You're not on anything but food. Above all, stay alive. You have no idea how important you are.